All right, guys. I'm super impressed with how many people we have on here. This is great. This is going to be fun. So thank you so much for joining our hemp wellness workshop. This is something kind of different for us. We don't normally do it this way, but we felt like it would be really cool to hear from, different women that have different area of expertise in their corporate job. And hopefully we can kind of talk about, and have you guys truly walk away from here, kind of have a better understanding of hemp wellness. So I'm going to introduce myself first. Some of you I recognize, some of you I don't, but my name is Morgan Hooper. I live in North Carolina. I'm formerly from the Midwest, so I see a lot of you Midwest people on here. And kind of how I ended up here. So I had a major surgery about a year ago, and I was in a lot of pain. I thought that I was going to be able to return back to work in 2 weeks, and I was completely wrong. I wasn't even able to stand up straight. I was using a walker. I was a hot mess, to say the least. So I was taking pharmaceuticals, and I knew that I was not going to be able to return back to work with the medicines that I was taking. So on my downtime, I started Googling alternatives, and CBD just kept coming up. And I wasn't new to CBD, but I think for me, what had happened the first time I had taken it, I didn't know how to dose properly. And I also did not realize that the industry is very unregulated. Okay. And really, I just didn't even know where I was getting it from. Okay. So I linked arms with my neighbor who told me about somebody who was selling CBD. And she told me all the things that I needed to know. So that is how I got here. And a year later, I'm fully recovered from my surgery. I have no issues at all, and I have absolutely no regrets. And I feel like I'm a much better mom and a wife, honestly. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the history of hemp. Okay. So the United States is not new to the hemp plant. Okay. So back even in George Washington's day, it was a staple crop. It was something that they were even using to, to trade, barter on, also paid their taxes. They saw the mass capabilities of it. They were even looking into building a car with it. And so what happened over time is that in the 1930s, they decided that they were going to ban all cannabis. And the reason that they did that is because they really knew nothing about it, but they knew that marijuana was not something that they wanted to make legal. So what they did was they just completely banned all of it. Well, the hemp plant is also a cannabis plant. Okay. So that is how basically hemp went bye-bye for a long time. All right. So now in the 80s and 90s, they were heavily researching drugs. All right. And I think really what happened is over time, they realized that they weren't really finding negative effects with the cannabis plant. All right. And so with that, they discovered the endocannabinoid system. Okay. So I don't know if some of you have heard about the endocannabinoid system, and you can say ECS because it's easier to say, but you, as a mammal, having a backbone, sitting right there, you guys absolutely have an endocannabinoid system in your body. All right. So think of it this way. Your endocannabinoid system is like an umbrella. All right. And then underneath that, you have all your systems. So your digestive system, your central nervous system, your respiratory system. And the ECS system talks between all of those, okay? So when you have an ailment, when you have something going on, whether that's sleep, whether that's pain, whether that's depression, thyroid issue, things like that, what happens is your ECS system is depleted. It's out of whack. It's out of balance. Okay, so we actually produce our endocannabinoid systems within our body. So when they're depleted, that's where CBD comes in. So you want to ingest the plant form of CBD. Okay, and so how that works, I always like to use this little orange here. Is let's just pretend that this is a skin cell, okay, on your skin. Say you've got inflammation, redness. So what happens is you've got a little endocannabinoid receptor on that orange, okay? So you're gonna ingest some CBD, we'll pretend this marshmallow CBD. It's gonna travel through your body, it's gonna figure out where your ailment is, where you're lacking, and it's gonna connect to that receptor, okay? And then it's gonna bring that entire system back to homeostasis. So that is what your endocannabinoid system is doing, all right? Along with when you ingest CBD, whether you do an oil, jelly, or even topicals, okay? So I wanna give you guys a little nursing perspective on this, that, think about all the medicines that are in your medicine cabinet right now. All of them have side effects, okay? They're gonna cause drowsiness, they're gonna cause nausea. All of them are gonna be filtered through your kidneys and your liver, all right? So all of them are gonna have long-term effects on those systems. So here you are thinking you're fixing one of your ailments, one of your diagnosis, but then the long haul, your kidneys and your liver can have some significant damage, okay? So think about it this way. If the hemp plant can actually take the place of that and actually bring your body back to balance and fix some of those ailments, symptoms, diagnosis that you're having, you're not going to have that long-term bad effect on your liver and kidneys. Okay. So 2 testimonies that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Both diagnoses as a nurse, it was always really hard to watch, and just really hard. You felt bad as a nurse, just because you knew the anxiety that came with these diagnoses. Okay. So there is a little girl that was diagnosed with epilepsy, and she had multiple seizures throughout the night. Okay. The mom was never sleeping. When I say multiple, like up to like 9 a night. All right. So her neurologist recommended that she could take the CBD. The CBD drastically reduced her seizures throughout the night and then year over year. And just think about, as a caregiver, how stressful that is. As a mom, I can't imagine laying my baby down at night, not knowing how many seizures they were going to have, if it was going to be, if they were going to aspirate or anything like that. So the mom was able to finally get sleep and get rest as well, because she knew her daughter was getting rest and wasn't having as many seizures. So it was a win-win for both of them. The other diagnosis that I wanted to talk about is multiple sclerosis. So this affects your nervous system. And I don't know if any of you guys know anyone with MS, but it's a very tricky disease. You don't know how quickly it's going to affect you, or if it's going to be something that is way down the road. And I have someone that's very near and dear to my family, and she was diagnosed with MS in her late 20s. And her parents also had MS. So this was something that was very devastating to her, because she took care of her parents growing up with MS. And I can't imagine at that age, when you're trying to build a family, build a home with your work, what life is going to look like for you. She reached out to me because she wanted to try CBD to see if it would help, and her neurologist was absolutely on board. And she was able to get off of 2 of her prescription medications that were making her feel terrible with her side effects. And then also just helping her with the worry and depression that comes along with a very uncertain diagnosis. So those are 2 testimonies that I wanted to share with you guys, that I feel like speaks volumes about what the hemp plant can do to your body. And then lastly, I want to talk to you guys about my favorite product, and it's not CBD, but it's collagen. But collagen, our collagen actually has CBG in it, okay? So it does have the hemp plant in it. But collagen, what it is it is the most abundant protein in your body, okay? So a lot of you have heard about it with anti-aging, skin, wrinkles, and that's because skin has the highest amount of collagen in your body. So that's why when babies come out, they've got those cute puffy cheeks, they have no wrinkles. It's because they have the highest amount of collagen. But over time, we lose that, okay? So you have to supplement that. You do have to take collagen. But the biggest thing I wanted to talk about with it is the anti-inflammatory effects that it has on your body, okay? So you guys have all probably started to see that gut health is very important in inflammation, all right? So what happens is when you have a weakened gut, the lining of your gut, the bad toxins are going to trickle into your bloodstream and cause you to have autoimmune disorders, all kinds of different things. All right. So what collagen does is it builds back up the lining of your gut so those toxins don't leak out. And that is how overall it's going to decrease the inflammation in your body. Green Compass has, they source their collagen from 3 different sources, shellfish, bovine, and then also sustainable caught fish. They also have CBG in it. CBG is the mother of all cannabinoids, okay? And it also focuses more on your skin as well. And then it also has the most powerful antioxidant to date, which is the olive leaf extract, okay? This is what our collagen looks like. I drink it every single day. My hubby drinks it. His boss and his friends just saw him the other day and told him how much younger he looked, which is crazy. He was eating that up. So yes, that is collagen. That is one of my favorite products. Okay. So I am going to kick this over to Bristol, and she's a massage therapist, and I'm gonna let her take over and share her little tidbits.
Almost forgot to take myself off mute. That would have been really weird. Okay. Hi, my name's Bristol. I am a wife, a mom of 2 toddlers, 2 crazy dogs. And I have been an advocate with Green Compass since October. I kind of stumbled upon it. I was looking for more of a natural anxiety relief for myself and my husband. And we try to go the more natural route before turning to pharmaceuticals. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just to try it out and see if it works. And I found out that I did get relief from my anxiety and my stress, but I also got relief from my chronic neck pain, which I've been living with since I was 16 from car accidents. And I also noticed it gave me really sustained energy and focus. And it's almost like my brain fog was gone. I could just concentrate better. So I literally fell in love with it. And I'm like, I am not going to be able to keep my mouth shut about this, because I feel like everyone needs to experience this amazing feeling that I'm feeling. I started with the broad spectrum tincture. There's no THC in this. So we started with that because my husband gets drug tested. So we obviously didn't want him to fail a drug test. And like Morgan said, I'm a massage therapist. I'm currently not practicing. We just uprooted our life and moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that's been a little crazy, but thank God for CBD. Right. So I'm also a current student of the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy, where I'm over halfway through being trained to be a health and wellness coach, board certified. So that's really exciting. So things like this really fill my bucket. And I just love sharing knowledge about health and wellness, especially when it comes to stress and anxiety, because it is definitely generational in my family, and I'm trying to break that. So okay, here we go. So Morgan explained what our ECS is, our endocannabinoid system. And I'm going to take a few minutes to explain what depletes it and how we can nourish it. And then I'm going to leave you with a little takeaway too. So what depletes our endocannabinoid system? Processed foods, which are sadly hard to avoid these days, chronic use of prescription drugs, environmental pollutants and toxins, also very hard to avoid, emotional stress, which actually changes our biochemistry. So to explain that a little bit more, if you are on the street and you're about to get mugged, right, you're going to have a flood of cortisol and you're going to go into this fight or flight mode. And that's actually changing the chemistry in your body. Now, say after that episode, you calm down, you come out of that. If you say several months later, years later, you think back on that experience, that biochemistry is going to go right back to what it was. That's how when you say, oh my gosh, I feel that again. Like that is actually chemistry in your body changing, which I think is totally fascinating. So as you guys know, the last couple of years, everyone has been in this heightened stress mode. So anything we can do to bring us out of that fight or flight is worth doing. More on that later. Okay, so other things that deplete our ECS is oxidative stress. So this is actually at a cellular level in our body. In our cells, we have mitochondria. I don't know if you remember the old high school biology cell classes. So What happens is when your mitochondria are making energy for your body, it actually like off gases this oxidative stress, and that can make your body into an acidic state. When your body's in an acidic state, what can happen? That's when disease happens. That's when things like cancer happen. So you really want to try to lower that oxidative stress, which you can do by eating antioxidants and other things, and try to stay in more of an alkaline state. Also, our genetics, moreover, our epigenetics, and this is how our environment plays a role in our genetic expression. So, if our environment is telling our genes to, for instance, blood pressure, if you're prone to that, and then your environment is also contributing to that, that's going to deplete your endocannabinoid system as well. So, enough with the sad depletion. Now, how can we nourish it? So we can nourish it by eating real whole foods and using good quality spices and seasonings that have flavonoids in them. I think CBD also has flavonoids in it too, which is pretty cool because it's a plant. So a lot of plants have flavonoids. Um, Detox your body to cleanse your system. That's going to reduce inflammation overall and the buildup of internal toxins. I am actually currently reading this. It's called Whole Detox by Deanna Minnick. It was recommended by my functional medicine coaching academy. It's awesome. And she talks a lot, it's not a juice cleanse. A detox is not a juice cleanse. It's not a stop eating for days on end. It's a eat whole foods, detox your emotions. Again, back to that emotional stress. It's so huge, so huge. So getting detox from emotions, people, thoughts, all of the toxic thoughts we can think in a day, limiting beliefs, all of those. It's super important to do that. We can also supplement with phytocannabinoids, which would be CBD and the whole family of spectrum that goes along with that. And I say supplement because CBD is not going to be the miracle cure to cover all of your ECS. You should be doing all of the things. And CBD is more of a supplement, just like you take vitamins every day to supplement a diet, because a lot of our foods now sadly lack some nutrition. So I can't think of the word. But sadly they lack. So you can supplement with a vitamin. Also, Green Compass has some really cool drinks called Hydrate and Energize, and they have actually, it's really cool the technology they've used with this. It can help our bodies get into more of an alkaline state. So remember when I said our oxidative stress makes us acidic? These drinks, one is for hydration. It's like a liquid IV, but I think better. And then the Energize will give you some energy, but those are tailored to become more alkaline. Sorry. Okay. Sleep is huge to nourish your ECS, and Emily is going to tell us all about that. So I'm just going to skip right over that one. Exercise and movement are huge. Has anyone here experienced the runner's high, like from working out? Anyone? So that is actually cannabinoids. It is specifically anandamide, which is known as the bliss molecule. It's not endorphins. So you're already making cannabinoids in your body, whether you're supplementing with CBD or not, which I was like blown away by that. I had no idea. So it's really cool. We're already making them. A few other ways, anything that can relax you. So meditation, yoga, deep breathing, prayer, massage. I know personally, on my massage table, people would lay down and their stomach would start to rumble and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My stomach is so loud. I'm like, no, that's a compliment. That means I have gotten you into that rest and digest mode and out of the fight or flight mode, which is, I think, amazing. Anything you can do to get yourself out of that is so good for your health. And last but not least, maintain healthy personal relationships. And you can do this by smiling and hugging often. Smiling and hugging actually send that anandamide out into your ECS and make you happy. And I wanted to go through a couple breathing techniques, just because this is something you can walk away with, whether you want to try CBD or not. This is something you can do every day to nourish your ECS along with supplementation. So If you want to join me, you can. There's no wrong way to breathe. I always want to preface with that. So never don't stress about, oh my gosh, am I doing it right? I should breathe in my nose, out my mouth. You can do it however is comfortable for you. So there's two techniques I really like. One is called box breathing. And so if you think about a square, so you'll breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold for 4 again. So if you want to do this with me, you can. You can turn off your camera, or you can just close your eyes, and we'll breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, and then hold 2, 3, 4. And you can continue doing this. Okay. And then another favorite of mine is I don't know the technical name of this, so I call it counted breathing. But you breathe in half as long as what you exhale. So I like to do 4 and 8. So you breathe in for 4 counts and you breathe out for 8. So we'll try this. We'll do this 3 times just because the box breathing was a little rushed. So breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. And now breathe out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. And out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. And out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more bliss now from the anandamide. And I would love to brainstorm in the chat a few good times that you could fit this into your day. I actually like to, after I pour a cup of coffee while it's cooling off, just sit there with the warm mug in my hand and do that like a few times. You could do it in the shower. You can do it after you wash your face in the morning or when you lay down in bed at night. All are good options. So if you want to throw some out there in the chat, don't be shy because it may give some people other ideas too. It's kind of fun to brainstorm with a big group of people like this. So I will leave you with aim to do something every day to nourish yourself and your ECS. You are worthy of it, you deserve it, and your body will thank you. Thanks for coming tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay, who's going to talk about pain.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Graham. I am a mother of 3 girls, 4, 2, and 5 months. So I just had my last one in September. So definitely figuring out life with 3 small children. I'm a physical therapist and I work in a private clinic, outpatient, and I specialize in orthopedics, which is basically bones, joints, muscles. And I'm going to talk a little bit about pain and ways to manage and prevent pain more holistically. So I first really got started hearing about CBD actually from some of my patients. They had started talking a little bit more about it and as an alternative to pain medicine. We have, women in our Pilates class that kind of chat about it and have just started using that method because people are tired of taking, long-term pain medication. And then myself, I was introduced to some different hemp products when I was pregnant with my 3rd baby. My friend Emily had started using CBD for anxiety and sleep, and her message really resonated with me because I had struggled with some of the same issues, stress, sleep, anxiety. And I had actually been on a lot of anxiety and medicine for ADD, and I'd stopped those when I had my first baby 4 years ago. So I just was already kind of in that mode of a more of a holistic approach. I'd used a lot of similar techniques, breathing techniques, taking meditation classes, and this was kind of right up my alley. And with 2 toddlers and a baby on the way, I was working full time. And so this just kind of seemed to fit right in, especially my 2-year-old was really having a lot of sleep issues at the time, so I wasn't getting sleep either, being pregnant. So I've just really benefited from CBD for that reason myself. I've got a lot of the products and love them. And from what I've learned from hemp along the way is how much it relates to my profession as a physical therapist and why I decided to go into it. So, people have so many different types of pain for different reasons. I mean, it's so much you can talk about with pain. It can be very complex, caused by many different factors. Some have chronic pain for years due to an old injury, or it can be, be autoimmune health issues, or even an acute recent injury. It can even just be everyday aches and pains, wear and tear, nerve, joint, muscle. So as a PT, we not only help people get out of their pain, but prevent pain. And it's not just after injury or surgery. We can even help people look at how they move and get better at what they're doing. So it could be sports. It could be, they want to go up the stairs better. It really, you don't even have to have pain to come to us. So that's kind of the cool thing about what we do is we kind of figure out what's causing it. We figure out the root of it, and we find a solution to work your muscles. Whatever's tight, we need to stretch it. Whatever is weak, we need to work on that. So we kind of create a program that way. So that's kind of, the similarities is that pain medication is really kind of a Band-Aid. It does help, it can kind of numb that pain, but it's really not solving the problem. And, a lot of them have side effects like Morgan talked about. Several patients, do steroid injections, and long-term, that can cause more issues with osteoporosis. And then of course there's the opioid epidemic, right? So we're trying to get away from that as a therapist and really prevent that and create more of a natural way to get people back to function. So pharmaceuticals have their place, and some people really do need them. And as a therapist, we can't prescribe medication, but we are very educated on it. So we help patients along the way, kind of make those decisions, and obviously to refer back to their doctor for any, changes or anything like that. So that's kind of where we are. And I love, the cool thing about hemp is that, it does really work from within too. Just like physical therapy, we're kind of actually doing something to the system to decrease inflammation and really, address the pain. And I think, that along with physical therapy or, actual physical activity can really help a lot of people avoid a lot of different things like surgery. Just the money that we can spend on surgeries if we could have just addressed the issue ahead of time. I just think that is such a cool thing. And in the future, hopefully, hemp becomes more mainstream and people can be more proactive and really decrease a lot of that pain. So there's a lot of studies out there, not going to get into too much of those details, but someone worth following is Dr. Jack. He has a YouTube channel. It's Dr. Jack Has Your Back, and he goes into a ton of this. He's a pain medicine doctor and really started getting into more CBD for pain management. And I obviously use it as a runner as well. So, even those everyday aches and pains, I'm a long distance runner, have run many marathons pre-baby. I've run up to 30. So I know kind of that long-term soreness and all that. And just since taking CBD, I've just been able to recover better. My body feels better. So that's just my perspective there. So products, a topical cream is kind of great for me as a runner. This type of a topical cream, this is the reduced, but this is different than your regular BioFreeze, right? Because BioFreeze just uses that menthol to numb that superficial top level. It really doesn't kind of get deep in. With the CBD in this, it also has that kind of cooling sensation, but it's working with those receptors that Morgan talked about. We have so many in our skin that it's accepting the receptors and actually working with our system. So this type of cream, I use on my kids for growing pains, something as simple as that, to chronic nerve pain. Someone I know has had nerve pain for like 30 years, and the typical over-the-counter pain medication does not affect nerve pain, and this kind of cream actually does. So that's very beneficial for a wide variety of pain. A second would just be, we always recommend kind of like a full spectrum for pain without going into too much. It's kind of the entourage effect. So a full spectrum is a lot of the different cannabinoids, and all of those working together is the most beneficial for pain. And so that full spectrum does have the THC in it, and it's just the 0.3%, but that's typically what we recommend for pain. We also have a boost. So that's just a terpene blend. It does not have CBD, but this is something, again, just really enhances and affects that entourage effect. So again, you're getting more of that. With a lot of this chronic pain, you kind of need more than one thing. You kind of have to target it for many different angles. And then just a little roller, that is easy, just throw in your gym bag for after the workouts, or if you are, just feeling that tension at work, it's just nice to kind of have a topical roller. And so with any of, products, CBD does kind of take time. It's a little bit different than just a pain med where you feel right away. So everyone's system's different. Some people do feel it right away, especially those pain creams, but just keep in mind, it's just a little bit different, and everyone's endocannabinoid systems is different as well. So I just want to finish up with some quick tips as well. With us, sitting is kind of the new epidemic of, it's like sitting is like smoking, right? Being, the chronic obesity and everything. And you can work out for, an hour a day. But if you're sitting, think about it. We sit to eat breakfast. We sit to drive to work. We often sit at work. Then we sit to watch a movie, so we are sitting 8 hours a day. That 1 hour is just not going to make a difference, because when we're sitting, we're in this position. And without getting into too much details, you shorten muscles, right? And if you're going to work out in that shortened position, you're really not doing a whole lot of good. So we really recommend getting up and moving. That's the biggest thing you can do. Like, set an alarm, move every 20 minutes is ideal. And I know it's really tough for people, but at the very least an hour, and just get out of that position. So I'm going to show you just a little bit of a neutral, because most people probably think they have good posture, but most people are pretty forward. And you don't really want to overcompensate, because a lot of people say squeeze your shoulder blades together, and that's kind of not where we want to be. We almost want to be in a neutral position. So I like to check in and tell my patients, you can scrunch up, relax down, and then float up to the middle. And that's kind of your neutral. And you don't want to be too far forward. You don't want to be too far back. So that's kind of where you want to be. And just really, you can put a sticky note on your computer and say, check your posture, or set an alarm on your phone. And if even better, if you can get in the opposite position you're in. So if you can just do a nice little back stretch back, and then do a twist every once in a while, that actually increases your productivity at work too, because you're getting that blood flowing and you're not just sitting static. If you can stand up, even better. If you can move around, that would be great. You can just do a sit to stand in your desk, but really we need to get moving. And on top of that, our joints are really lubricated by synovial fluid, right? So we need to move. And it's just a cycle. People are in pain, so they don't move. But all you have to do is just kick your legs, pump your ankles, lift your arms up. We have to move to get that moving and get going. So the more that you move, the better. And it doesn't have to be a 30-minute workout. People get so stressed out about they didn't get their workout and then just don't do anything at all. 5 minutes, just take the stairs, park farther, walk a little bit, do something like squats when you're doing the dishes, just get something in, and it's a win. So just remember that, it doesn't have to be crazy, and, just always count your wins. So that is, some quick tips just to think about. And that's really important with your daily life. And it's really going to, I think, prevent a lot of things in the future. So next up is Emily. She's going to be speaking a lot about sleep and anxiety. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you. All right, Lindsay, how's my posture look? Okay, thanks. All right, my name is Emily. I live in Loveland, Colorado. I'm originally from Illinois, and I've been married for about 7 years, and we have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, 4 and 1. And for my full-time job, I'm an elementary art teacher. So you might be wondering why an art teacher is presenting on sleep. I don't have any impressive credentials in the health and wellness fields. I have been with Green Compass for almost a year, and sleep is what brought me to the company. When you struggle with something for long enough, you tend to become an expert in your search for answers. For almost 20 years, I prayed for better sleep. But for the same amount of time, my prayers went unanswered, and I depended on a rotation of Benadryl, over-the-counter melatonin, and Unison tablets. I realized how awful that is, but at the time, I felt my only other choice was to just not sleep. And not sleeping felt awful. And using these sleep aids allowed me to sleep, but left me feeling drowsy for most of the following day. And honestly, it was so chronic that I thought feeling tired all day was normal. Sleep is important. So let's just acknowledge that it is something that we need to do for survival. And it's really not about the number of hours you're sleeping. We've been led to believe 8 hours is what we need. It's really about the quality of your sleep over the quantity. There isn't one facet of your mental, emotional, or physical performance that's not affected by your quality of sleep. Consequences of sleep deprivation are actually really serious. Stuff like immune system failure, diabetes, cancer, obesity, depression, and memory loss, just to name a few. Have you ever noticed if you've had a rough night, it is very hard to eat healthy the next day? You're gravitated towards sugar and just snacks. One night of sleep deprivation can make you as insulin dependent as a person with type 2 diabetes. A night of sleep deprivation is also equivalent to a night of binge drinking. So you may feel hungover, driving can be dangerous, and big decisions should not be made by you. I could go on and on about how important sleep is, but you get the point. So why are some of us struggling to sleep, although there's nothing pressing keeping us up at night? I'm going to talk to you about hormones and your circadian rhythm. In the morning, ideally, you have your daytime hormones like cortisol, which is our stress hormone, help you wake up and feel alert and ready to go. Throughout the day, your body also produces serotonin. This is our happy hormone. In the evening, the serotonin that we produce during the day turns into melatonin. This is our sleep hormone. So now what's happening most of the time when we aren't sleeping is that something's going wrong with our hormones. They're imbalanced. For some reason, we either aren't producing melatonin in the evening or our body isn't responding to it. Or we're producing those daytime hormones like cortisol at night. And as a result, we are lacking cortisol in the morning. And then we feel groggy. And if you are experiencing anxiety or depression, like me, you're also lacking serotonin, which I just told you is what turns into melatonin, and what a mess that becomes. So how do we balance out these hormones? I'm going to give you several tips to hopefully help you. I will preface this with none of these are an easy fix. Taking charge of your health is not taking a pill. It's changing the way you live and creating new habits. But I will start with one thing that has made the biggest difference for me, and that has been the easiest of all the strategies. So for me, that has been to wean off of the sleep aids and the melatonin. And I don't have a lot of time to dive into all of the reasons why sleep aids and melatonin are bad, but the big ones are that the sleep isn't quality. And over time, melatonin can really mess up your own melatonin production and how your body reacts to it. So CBD has helped my inner chatter at night, balanced my hormones, and allowed me to have a better quality of sleep without any sleep aids. I actually noticed I could stay up later, sleep less hours, yet I woke up feeling more rested than I had my entire adult life. I added in our sleep boost. I'm going to show you that a couple weeks later, and I couldn't believe that I slept even deeper and fell asleep quicker. The CBD I chose was our nano jellies. They look like this. It's an edible. These are water soluble, which is actually very important because CBD edibles are generally you're only going to absorb about 5%, but not with these. It's more about 95%. And the reason I chose those at the time was because I was nursing a baby and those are THC free. While this has been the biggest help for me, I'd be lying if I told you it's the only thing I'm doing. There's lots of things I'm doing to help my sleep. So I'm going to give you some other tips to hopefully help you with your sleep. Okay. Get morning sunlight. Go outside without sunscreen or sunglasses for 20 to 30 minutes. This is going to boost your vitamin D levels and your serotonin levels. And like I said, serotonin is going to turn into melatonin, and that's actually made in your skin. So it's very important that you don't have the sunscreen on. And I know there's a lot of controversy about sunscreen right now, but truly for our health, we have to have a little bit of sunshine without sunscreen. Don't stay outside all day without the sunscreen. Another one is to avoid screens before bed. We've heard this one before, but I'm going to tell you a little bit why. So the blue light from your computers, your television, and your cell phones emits a blue light that produces more of those daytime hormones, like I was talking about, like cortisol. This is going to delay the production of your melatonin. So that hour before bed, if you can, and I've been doing this, put your phone away and get out a book, okay? Or play a game with somebody at your house. Cool your room. If you sleep in, if you know what temperature your room is, pop it in the chat. I'd be super curious. The perfect temperature for my room is about 64. For most people, you want it somewhere between 60 and 69 degrees. There's an automatic drop in your core body temperature to initiate sleep. And if you are too warm, your body temperature cannot drop. So the 60s is the best temperature for your optimal sleep. And everyone's a little different. If you have cold extremities, poor circulation, just put some socks on, but then still keep that room cold. If you've ever tried to fall asleep in a warm environment, you know it just takes forever. Have a caffeine cutoff. I don't think this is news to anyone, but 6 to 8 hours before your typical bedtime, stop drinking caffeine. Go to bed at the right time. So you naturally sleep the best when you go to sleep just a couple hours after dark. So this naturally is going to be later in the summer and earlier in the winter. Staying up too late can cause you to feel a second wind and feel wide awake. So even if you were just tired an hour ago, suddenly you just are awake. You got your second wind. Exercise. Work smarter, not harder. You can do shorter, more intense workouts, and they have shown to result in better sleep. The time of day also matters. So you want to try to do your workout in the morning if possible, or early afternoon. Too close to bedtime is going to produce those daytime hormones again. So it would be better for you to do it in the morning. Black out your bedroom. Studies have shown that even just a little bit of light can disrupt sleep at night, even just like a light on in your room. So anything from a street lamp outside to the glowing light on your alarm clock. Invest in blackout curtains. And if you need to have a clock, make sure it is lit in red. The red light that shines from a clock, that's what I have here, is the least disruptive. Fix your gut. Bristol talked on this a little bit. Sleep quality is directly related to your gut health, so avoid processed and sugary foods. Lean in heavy on organic whole foods to improve your gut health. I would encourage you to research the importance of this and how your serotonin is produced in your gut. I think it's like 70 or 80%. And so again, you get melatonin from your serotonin. And if you are using melatonin or you feel like you need to boost your melatonin, here's something you can do instead. So consume melatonin boosting foods. So did you know that there's actually foods that naturally either contain melatonin or they can boost your melatonin? So try foods like tart cherry juice. You can mix it in like an oat milk or even just water, goji berries, almonds, or a banana before bedtime. Again, synthetic melatonin, I'm not a fan. So those are just a few of my sleep tips. Hopefully I didn't take too long, but I'm going to hand it back over to Morgan. She's going to talk a little bit about our opportunity just because a few of you expressed interest in that.
All right. Thanks, Emily. I don't know how you keep it at 64 because I feel like my electricity bill would be crazy. But anyway, so yeah, as you can see, this has been really cool being able to learn about all these different natural ideas. We really wanted to incorporate like an overall wellness, and then of course throw in there about hemp and about CBD as well. So as you can tell, we were all kind of suffering in silence, and then we were able to find CBD. And so with this, we are all obviously advocates with Green Compass, and I don't think any of us actually thought that we would be doing this, but because we had such great results, we wanted to share it with our friends and family. And we found that Green Compass is the only USDA certified organic company that you can partner with. So it's really cool how we all found each other, and we all just share the same common love for just really wanting to help people and hoping that really hemp can help in so many other ways besides just yes, bringing your endocannabinoid system back to balance, but also sky's the limit with the plant. And so we know that Green Compass is super innovative and they're on the forefront of everything, and they're kind of just doing everything right. So if you guys have any more questions about what we do as advocates, and also too, if you want to learn more about products, we have tons of products. Like I said, they're very, very innovative, and we only touched base on a couple that we really felt like were, pertinent to some of the ailments that we were going over. So if you have any questions, please reach out to the advocate that invited you. But I'm going to cut the recording off, and I'm going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any, you guys can just unmute yourself. If you don't feel comfortable asking it live, feel free to put it in the chat and we can look there. But this has been great. We thank you guys so much for attending, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Morgan, you have a question in the chat about how do you know